Hello friends, today I'm going to solve LeetCode problem number 150, evaluate reverse Polish notation. So in this problem we are given tokens, which is an array of operators and operands, and what we need to do is we need to find the final output of the resulting equation that we will form from these tokens. So what's the resulting equation? This is the resulting equation. Now how do we form the equation? Let's see how are we going to form the equation from these tokens. How do we form this equation? So you could see we have two numbers and then an operator. So when we encounter an operator in this token array, what are we going to do is we are going to perform that operation between the previous two operands. So we encounter an operator here in the second position. So what we do, we are gonna take the the previous two operators before this operand. So what we do is we perform an addition of 2 and 1, and the resulting value is equals to 3, right? So this whole thing will result into a value equals to 3. Now what we have is a 3 and then a 3 again and then a multiplication sign. So what are we gonna do is we are gonna take these two values and perform multiplication. So 3 times 3 is equals to 9. So this is our final result. Now how do we perform this whole action? So let's see how are we going to do that. Let me just clear things up. Okay, so what's happening is we found the result between these two values, which is equals to 3. Now we are gonna use a stack to perform this whole operation. So what we do is we take a stack, an empty stack, and then we keep pushing into the stack as long as we do not encounter an operator. So we push the value 2 into our stack, and then we push the value 1 in our stack. Now what we encountered it next is an operator, which is a plus sign, right? So what we do is we pop from our stack these two values. So we pop these two values and then we perform the plus operation between those two values. So the total value is equals to 3. So now what we do is into our stack, which is now empty, we push our value 3. So now in our stack we have the value 3, and then what we do is we move on to the next element in this tokens array, which is an operand again. So we push that into our stack, and then in the next element, which is an operator, it is a multiplication sign. So what we do is we pop these two elements again, and then we perform that operation between these two elements, and then the final result will be equals to 9. So that is what we are going to do. We are going to use a stack. Let's see in this case. So what happens here is we start from an empty stack, and then we encounter a number, an operand. So we push it, we encounter 13, we push that value as well. We encountered a 5, so we push that value as well. Now we encounter an operator, which is a division sign, right? So when we encounter operator, we are gonna pop the first two elements from the top. So we are going to pop the two elements, which is 5 and 13, and we are going to perform the division operator between these two elements, and the final result is equals to, okay, so we also need to keep in mind that the first one will be the element at the very first will be the second operator, the second operand, and the first and then after that will be the first operand. So that is how we need to do things as well. So 13 divided by 5, because 13 was before 5 here. So what we do is 13 by 5, since it is an integer operation, so the value will be equals to 2. And now what we do is we push our value 2 into our array which already has a value equals to 4. So 4 and 2, we have these two values in our stack. Now the next element is an operator which is a plus sign. So we pop these two values, we pop 2, and then we pop the next value which is 4. So 4 plus 2 is equals to 6. So that is our result, and then we push that into our stack. And then since we have reached the end of this tokens array, what we do is we return the top of our stack, which will actually consist of the final result that we need. So that is what we are going to do. We are going to use a stack. Now let's dive into our code. So we are going to create a stack. And then we are going to loop over each of the element in tokens, and then if element that match, so I'm going to use a regular expression to match if it is a number. So 0 to 9, if it is a number, then we are going to push into the stack, push the value into the stack. Else what we do is we pop these two elements, right? So let a equals to, actually the top will be the second element, so b equals to dot pop the second operator, and now the first operator a equals to pop stack dot pop. Okay, and then now if the element which is an operator is a plus value, then what are we going to do here is we are going to perform okay, let's see will be the result of this operation. So c equals to 0. Okay, do not need to initialize it, but that's okay. So c equals to a plus b if it is a plus operator. Else if e equals to a minus operator, then c equals to a minus b. Else if e is equals to a multiplication operator, then c equals to a times b. Else the last one would be the division operator, because only 4 of these operators are valid. So the last one, if it is a division operator, then a divided by b. And then what we do is at the end we push our element, our result, to the stack. Okay, we push it to the stack. Now one thing here is we are pushing the element from this tokens array, and since the tokens array consists of array of strings, as you could see here, these are string values, right? So when we push this value, this would be string, and then when we pop a and b, both are string, and we are actually performing these operations on a string, which is not valid operation. So what we need to do is we need to parse the value into integer before pushing it. So parse parse int, and then when we parse it, so when we pop, these are all integer values, and c is also an integer value finally, and then we push the integer value, and finally we are gonna return the top of our stack. Okay, so I believe that we are good so far. Let's try to run our code. Oh no, so something went wrong. Let's see, what is it? Okay, so we are creating a stack, and each time we encountered a number, we are gonna push it to our stack, and then each time we encounter an operator, we are gonna take the first two elements. The first one, the topmost, will be the second operand, and the second to the top will be the first operand, and we are gonna get the value of c. If it is a plus sign, then perform a plus operation. If it is minus, then minus. Multiplication, multiplication. Else if it is a division sign, then perform division, and then push it to our stack, and then return the top of our stack. Let's see what's happening with our stack. 0 1. Okay, what's happening? We are putting 0 and 1. Let E of tokens. Cool, we got the wrong answer here. Okay, we are getting a decimal value here, but it should be an integer value. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna parse in or take the floor value of this operation, because division operation could give you a floating point number. Multiplication and subtraction and addition won't, but division could. So that is what we need to take care of. Oh no, we have one more. Negative value. Okay, so what's happening here is minus 11, so far good. 17, minus 1, minus 10. Six divided by 132 should be equals to a 0 value. Plus 5. Okay. So we are getting a minus 1, and what is that? Operator as well. Division between 6 and minus 132. Is giving me a minus 1. That's weird. Let's do this. This works. That's amazing. And let's see what. No, it's giving me a 0, minus 0. Okay, let's try to submit. Cool.